Hey, how's it going? My name is Andrew Patterson. I am a cadet with Army ROTC at the University of Oklahoma. And today I am going to review Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry and John Greaves. So what this book is about, first let me start. So, like I said, I'm a cadet at the University of Oklahoma, Army ROTC, construction science major. And I've been in the National Guard for 3 years and 3.5 years now. And I plan to commission as an infantry officer in the Army National Guard here in Oklahoma. A little intro into our class. It is the Military Science 3 class, which is our third year. It's a second semester of the military science curriculum set out by Cadet Command. And we are going over a book today about emotional intelligence, and our class kind of dives into we have two days of class, Tuesday and Thursday, and Tuesday is social and sociology and psychology topics. Especially with emotional intelligence, but their focused is leadership type of courses and classes, and that's really what our Tuesdays are about. And this is a Tuesday topic class, and this book has been our midterm exam, kind of. And so the summary of the assignment here is to make a video about the book itself and kind of discuss our own score on our emotional intelligence, and kind of discuss the book and how we can apply it to our future leadership endeavors. So let's get into it. So in the book, there are 4 skills. In the whole book, there are 4 skills which fall under 2 categories: personal competencies, which include self-awareness and self-management. The book defines personal competencies as the collective power of your self-awareness and self-management skills. It's how you use emotional intelligence in situations that are more about you privately. Okay, so it's really about yourself. And self-awareness is the ability to accurately perceive your emotions and stay aware of them as they happen. This includes keeping on top of how you tend to respond to specific situations and certain people. Self-management, on the other hand, is your ability to use awareness of your emotions to stay flexible and positively direct your behavior. This means managing your emotional reactions to all situations and people. So it's able to, again, manage the emotions you're feeling in a sense. So the other side, you have personal competencies, and then you have social competencies. And social competencies are defined as the combination of your social awareness and relationship management skills. It's more about how you are with other people. And part of the social competencies, it's broken into 2 categories, or 2 skills. Social awareness, which is the ability to accurately pick up on emotions in other people and get what is really going on. This often means understanding what other people are thinking and feeling, even if you don't feel the same way. And that's really just being socially aware, just being able to read somebody's emotions based off their body language or the words they say, or any type of social interaction you might have with somebody else. Relationship management is the other skill, and that's the ability to use awareness of your emotions and your ability to use awareness of your emotions and the emotions of others to manage interactions successfully. Letting emotional awareness guide clear communication and effective handling of conflict. So it's just being able to manage, it's kind of self-explanatory, manage your relationships with other people whether it be a boss, coworker, a peer, child, or a parent. Doesn't matter. It's being able to balance your emotions and be aware of how you're affecting relationships, whether you're mending them, making them, or trying to build better relationships. And you're always trying to build better relationships. Very rarely do you want to not make or rescind a relationship. So I'll go over my scores. Overall, my emotional intelligence score is 73. My personal competence is broken into two parts, but I scored a 73 on personal competence. Self-awareness was a 78. Self-management was a 67. Social competence was 73. Social awareness was at an 80. And then my relationship management was at a 65. So what this tells me is that I really need to work on managing myself and managing my emotions during, my behavior. Yeah. It's kind of like being able to, I really need to focus on things that, what I take and then what I put out. So if I get mad, I reflect being mad, and I really need to just work on managing, I guess, those emotions. And my social awareness was up at 80. Relationship management was 65 is my lowest score. And I will say I think that's probably true. My management relationship skills are not the best. Often I can forget about people, and I will not give off the right emotions and other things like that will build upon relationships. And there are several different strategies in the book that allow you to, or they give on how to increase these emotional intelligences, your personal and social competences. And the book recommends focusing on one skill at a time. So for me, relationship management is a 65, self-management is a 67. That's up to you on how you want to approach this. To me, this means that I need to really work on relationship management, and there are several different ways to improve that. But let's just go down from the top. So summarizing on how we can increase our emotional intelligence, they give us several strategies for each skill in the book, and we're just going to kind of go through three on each of these, kind of like a quick down and dirty. So self-awareness you can improve by visiting your values, which is really just taking a look at your morals and seeing what kind of makes you get out of bed in the morning. Another way to do that is seek feedback. So kind of ask people, hey, did I react? Oh, did I overreact? Did I underreact? Just let me know how I did, and that's another good way to improve your self-awareness. And then the last one is observe your ripple effect. And that is basically your emotions that affect other people, right? So if you get mad and get in a bad mood, you could create other people to get mad and put them in a bad mood or make them sad. And being aware of that can really help you increase your self-awareness. Moving on to self-management, they give you three ways to improve that, and that's one by making your goals public to self-management, and by making your goals public, you kind of make a commitment by making your goals public, and so it kind of holds you accountable for your goal. So if you tell your people in the office that you are going to write an email at the end of every day explaining what happened, that is keeping you accountable because you just told everybody and they're going to expect an email from you. Another way to improve that is set time aside for yourself for problem solving. Often we get caught up in the day. I certainly know I do. Things come up. We get very busy, especially as a student. We get very busy with. We get caught up in our work and such, and we really need to sit down 5-10 minutes and just kind of review the day and just kind of take a plan of action. Um, so just review the problems that you're dealing with. Sit down any part of the day from like 5 to 5:15, whenever you have free time, and set time aside and review the problems and make a plan to deal with those problems. Last, breathe. All right, just breathe. Right, calm down. Don't get stressed out. Um, Most situations in life aren't life threatening, so I think you just need to sit down, think about it, breathe right, take the time to think about it, and go over the situation, mull over it a little bit. Don't jump right into it. Don't jump to conclusions. So moving on to the social competences, social awareness. You can improve these by watching your body language. So you don't want to give a closed body language like crossing your arms and trying to be open to people at the same time, right? You want to be open. You want to have if you want to be open, say you're at a social gathering of some sort, you want to meet people. You often want to seem friendly and open to people, and you really want to make sure that you're not sending mixed signals, which is actually another way to increase social awareness. You always want to perfect your timing with social awareness, so you want to make sure that you're bringing stuff up at the right time. You don't want to tell somebody that a family member passed away, during their birthday party or something. You may want to, if you have the time, present things at the right time. Again, most things aren't of short suspense if they need be. Just work on timing, right place, right time for most things. Okay. Another way to increase social awareness is greet people by name. Often, if you call somebody by their name, for example, our instructor, he outranks us by a lot, but he calls us by our first name, and it kind of shows that he, one, cares about us, cares enough to know our first name, and two, it shows that that he's open to us. He creates a atmosphere that allows us to be free, open our minds, and think. We're not closed off by this customs and courtesies and yes sir, no sir only type of answers. He keeps it very open, very relaxed by doing that, and you can do that too if you can just greet people by name. It kind of shows that you care, you're open, and it kind of says, hey, I took the time to know your name, and I took the time to greet you by your name, and it really kind of, it's kind of special in a way. That's what they say in the book. It's special. So moving on to the last one, relationship management. You can improve these by remembering that little things pack a big punch, right? We often might forget this, but you could say something that in your mind is very small. However, another person could take it completely opposite, right? Or on the positive side of things, you can say that. Well, that wasn't really negative, but in a positive saying, you could say, just at the end of the day, at your workplace, you could say, "Hey, Mary, really good job on today's performance." Right? I mean, she might have actually had a bad day, but if it's worth what it is, you could tell her that, "Hey, you're doing an okay job," and to you it might not seem like anything, but to her it could mean the world. So, remember that little things go a long way. Explain your decisions is another way to improve it. So if you make a decision, you really want to explain to your subordinates or whoever you're working with, coworkers, peers, maybe a boss. You want to explain your decision, all right? So you don't want to make a decision and then just not explain yourself. You always take the time to explain yourself because one, it makes you seem smarter, and two, it helps improve relationships because people now know how you act, right? They know how you act and how your reasoning, your logic works, and it kind of helps people to get to know you, and it's a way for relationships to open. And the last one is avoid giving mixed signals. I kind of mentioned this goes into social awareness as well. I personally believe so, but it also goes with relationship management. And you don't want to give mixed signals to people. You want to always be clear and concise with your emotions to people. Like if you're upset with somebody, don't be passive aggressive about it. You need to just come out and say, like, hey man, I really didn't like what you did today, and I'm a little upset by it. And then from there, try to work with the guy or whatever. You're trying to balance these relationships. You're trying to manage these relationships. So you really want to make sure that these relationships are, that you're not mixing signals, right? You don't want to be mad at somebody, and then give them the signal that that everything was okay. It's not how it should work. Doesn't work out for both people. So just be upfront and forward to people. You owe it to them. Last part of this video is simply about how, an overall application of what I've learned and how I can develop myself right now as a cadet and as a future officer, commissioned officer, how I can really use this in my career and develop right now. I think the best way to apply it is in my leadership role right now. I am the first sergeant for our for a company. We only have two companies. We got a Alpha company and Bravo company. I'm the Bravo company first sergeant. There's 53 people, including myself, in our company. And personally, I've been trying to practice some leadership skills, transformational mostly. I'm not a large believer in transactional leadership. I've been trying to practice transformational leadership because I want people to want it. I don't want people to do things because I simply threaten them or something like that. I'm not a transaction guy. I'm a transformational guy, and so that's kind of getting away from emotional intelligence. I want to, the way that I can apply emotional intelligence is interacting with cadets myself, and interacting with military science 1 members, which are freshmen and sophomores, MS2s, and also my fellow peers. I'm really trying to work with them, and I try my best to be self-aware of my emotions and socially aware of what's going on. I will say that there's been a recent breakdown in communication in the company, and I'm trying to. This is a good emotional intelligence review, and I'm trying to be, self-aware of what's making me mad, and how I'm managing myself and how I'm dealing with this. And I'm also trying to be socially aware of how my actions as a leader, how they are affecting the company, and how they are affecting my fellow cadets. And so I'm trying to be socially aware of what's going on. I'm also trying to maintain a positive relationship with my subordinates, my platoon sergeants, which are one step below me. I've got 2 platoons under my command that make up my company. They were led by platoon sergeants. I've been trying to work with my platoon sergeants to make sure there's no communication breakdown, and we found that the communication breakdown wasn't actually between us. It was in the squads, between the squad leaders, and I don't want to get too far into it, but you know, this has been a really good exercise for me on my leadership abilities, my emotional intelligence, and my you know, how can I apply it to my current life. And going forward into the future, I really want to really focus on building these competencies. I mean, both my personal competencies and social competencies were 73, and I would like to get that at least to an 80. You know, next time I take the appraisal. And I really want to focus on self-management and relationship management, as those two are both my lowest scores. So I really want to focus on, you know, managing myself and my behavior and actions, and I really want to focus on relationship management and focusing on building relationships with people, building good relationships, and really focusing on interacting with other folks, and taking care of myself as well. Well, that is all I have for this video. I'm sorry that it was really long, and I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you kind of learned something today. Boomer Sooner!